With that, board members, now let's move to agenda item 13, our monthly budget report. And we turn over to you, Scott. I've got you and Deborah on here, but I don't see Deborah, so it's all you.
So I know you would rather see Deborah, but that's okay. So Deputy Superintendent of Operations Scott Jones, I attest that the Utah State Board of Education is financially solvent. We are able to cover all known obligations and commitments. There's the report is in the backup. Subject to any questions or concerns with this report, I can move on to the discretionary report at your direction, Chair.
Please do.
Okay, for the discretionary report, we did make an amendment to it. If they could pull it up, we've provided the names of all the individuals or different entities or individuals, that have made the requests for the projects. I'm sorry, I get ahead of the pull up of the backup. So, are the names on this one? Can you see names next to the? I can't see that far. So, yeah, okay. So we amended this since we had posted it. We amended it, sent it out to the board, and then of course updated the backup. So if you reviewed it prior to this and you didn't see the names, I'm just making sure you know. And so going forward, the names will always be on there. And so with the earlier action by the board on the $50,000, we'll amend that and put, Board Member Earl, I think, is already on there. So we just, progressively update this. I'd like just really to call the attention to the board and the public in the upper right-hand corner are the yes, can we go to the upper right-hand corner? And so these are the remaining balances in the particular funding sources to the discretionary funds account, your state, FML, land exchange, federal mineral leases, FML, etc. Just for your consideration and the public's view that, we're tracking dollar for dollar each one of them. So subject to any questions or concerns, we can go at your direction, Chair, to item number 3, which is Sam and Dale this time coming up. So
Yep, I don't see any lights. Let's keep going.
okay.
Before you start, Dale and Sam, thank you for being here. I've got a light from Member Longacre. I didn't know if you had a question before they started.
Yeah, sorry,
ahead.
if you don't mind. Those funds, is there any way to find out what we're able to use those funds for? If there's like a spreadsheet, that would be awesome.
And
Sure. Yes. I mean, if you want, so we have definitive uses of those things. I can put them as a perpetual backup for definition of federal mineral lease, land exchange. We used to do that, but in the interest of time, we pulled them out. But I can either, at your direction, Chair, I can make it perpetual or just send them to Board Member Longacre.
I think if board members have a request, maybe they could reach out. Is that what you're saying?
No. I have them. I have a list. I just asking, does the whole board want them, or Board Member Longacre herself, or that's fine.
Email one, email all, right?
Yes, okay, I'll do that.
Do that.
You bet.
Thank you.
Point of information.
Okay, go ahead, Member Bogus.
I would rather it be a perpetual backup item. And I'll give you the why. The why is because when we get emails and I go to search for something, Outlook does not have a good search feature. And it would be much easier for me to go into an old backup and find that document than to search my email. Please and thank you.
Doesn't sound like a problem. Thank you. Thank you, Member Longacre. Okay. Sam, Dale, you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Sam Uri, School Finance Director, and Dale Frost, Minimum School Program Administrator.
Um, Dale's going to give the bulk of this presentation. Just want to acknowledge our partners at the Legislative Fiscal Analyst's Office and the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget. We've just completed a series of meetings that we call the Common Data Committee to not only go over enrollment, but also property taxes and projecting those the consensus on all of those things that go into building the base budget. And just want to give Dale here and his team a shout out for their great work in doing that and putting everything together in an accurate and timely manner. So take it away, Dale.
Thank you, Director Erie. It's long time no see, board members. So as Sam was saying here, just when you hear the term CDC throughout this, we're not talking about the Centers for Disease Control. We're talking about the work of these four organizations: USBE, LFA, GOPB, and the Utah State Tax Commission. Just like the state has various agencies and organizations that come together to create consensus revenue estimates, and having worked in states that don't have consensus revenue estimates, I'm very grateful that Utah does. And just so we're not arguing, oh, we're going to have X number of students or Y number of students for the budget. We're coming together to come up with our best estimates on property tax valuations and enrollments. So we also went through the process of the October 1 census counts, which is an important part of that. So we wanted to provide this information to you so you can see statewide and also LEA by LEA, where are enrollments going? How are they changing? And where do we project things to go? Why are two finance guys talking about this and not data and statistics? Because we use these data for our projections as well as our updates to budgets. So we're going to be updating LEA budgets across the board for the minimum school program, the largest funding sources for schools to reflect actual teacher and student counts. And so let's get into the data. All right. So this table here shows you at the top, so October 1, 2024 counts versus what we projected, and that's the October 1 CDC projections. So we at the CDC thought that this October, we would see district enrollments down by 1.6%, almost 9,500 students, and charters up by a little over 1,600 students, for a net change of being down 1.17%. And that number was what was used to calculate the enrollment growth piece of the budget from last year. Where did we actually end up? So it turns out that district enrollments actually came in lower than expectations and charter enrollments came in higher than expectations, but the net change was 11,500 students, it was very surprising. I expected things to be down, but not as far as where we ended. Some of that shift between districts and charters had to do with online students for that work with certain education service providers, but definitely not all of it. So that might account for about 1,000 of the difference. So there's definitely big changes in our public system and then changes in our school age population. So any questions on where we landed this year?
Member Longacre.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you have numbers of students who have gone to a hybrid, that they're enrolled, but they're not staying full-time? They might be going to school just for electives and not core classes. Do you have those numbers?
Chair, if I may answer that. Again, I'm not from data and statistics, but I can speak to that to my knowledge. There are flags for part-time students that generate over a year rather than 180 membership days for one ADM if it's less than that. So we can get you those measures of part-time students. That I don't know how accurate that picture is, once we look at the end of the year, because students can change their mind, things can change. But we do have those counts for part-time students. Now, how many are part-time hybrid? That's also a difficult thing because we don't have online as a student-based indicator, which goes to some of our formulas that are challenging. The best thing we can do for saying these are online students, we have a flag at the school-based level. The challenge is that sometimes schools offer online and in-person instruction, and we don't have a breakdown of that. So yes, we can provide that. I don't know how accurate that picture would be, Board Member Longacre.
Okay, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. Go ahead.
Okay, so where do we project for next year? And this was the CDC. We project to be down 2%, and districts down significantly at 17,000 and charters up 3,400. One question I have, for many years, the charter percentage was right between 11 and 12%. And this last year, they went to 13%. Will that trend continue? I don't know. But for the last couple of years, we have under-projected the charter enrollments. So to kind of give you a picture of what this essentially, if we land at the 643,000, that's essentially where we were back in October 2016. So it's about 10 years worth of growth and there are many, many factors there. Birth rates are down. That's not a secret. But then there's also changes. One question I had when we were collecting this data is, what can we see with the Utah Fits All program? I can show you, so it's not as clear of a picture as I thought, in the first year of Utah Fits All, about a little over 9,000 students switched over to that. We saw a drop about 4,000 to 5,000 students statewide. This last year, or this current year, excuse me, the estimates are about 4,500 additional students, and we're down the 11,000. So why is that? I can't tell you. We can tell you the students overall, these are the folks who are coming into the system. We can't tell you everything, all the ins and outs and the whys, but that was one thing that I was looking into. So certainly Utah Fits All can be part of that, but it's a lot bigger and broader than just Utah Fits All.
It looks like we have questions from Member Longacre and then Member Carey.
Do we give parents an exit survey when they leave the public or charter schools as to why? Because that would indicate to us, okay, what do we need to clean up? What do we need to improve if they're leaving for specific reasons? Do we know that? Or if not, can we create an exit survey?
Chair, can I answer that? I wish Director Bruff was here from Data and Statistics. He can tell you all the specifics. I do know that when you have a student who exits an LEA, the LEA has to provide an exit code. The challenge is it's not always clear why they left. Did they leave for a homeschool option? Did they leave because they got, a Utah Fits All scholarship? But yes, there are all of the entries and exits and the data, but the same kind of caveats exist on that. It's how well was the LEA informed on that? And I imagine that it varies depending on who's putting that information on the UTREX system.
Did you have a follow-up?
Or is there any way that a survey can come directly from the state school board then and not the LEA?
So Chair, if I may, Board Member Longacre, are you asking if there's a broader survey than just simply an exit code? As far as I know, the answer is no on that.
Sam, did you have something to?
Yeah. We,
Go ahead,
right,
Sam.
we, if the board were to create through rule or recommended legislation, some sort of public education, family exit survey, that's something that certainly would be doable. There's obviously a lot that goes into that. If you were creating it at the state board level, we would need to then somehow get family contact information from that LEA and make sure that that's secure. Lots of different considerations, but it is possible. It doesn't exist at this time.
Did that answer your question, Member Longacre? Yeah, please.
I think that information would be very essential in what we do in our jobs. Again, so we know, are they leaving because parents feel like they're spending too much time on Chromebooks? Is this a Chromebook issue? Is it a curriculum issue? I think it's in our best interest to come up with a survey and find out why families are leaving charters and public schools.
Thank you, Member Carey.
Thank you, Chair. Just to make sure I understand the data, so what we're saying, and these are the projected for next year, is that correct? So we're projecting that our district schools will lose a total of 17,015 students over the course of the year. Oh, please.
Director Uri.
We're projecting that the enrollments will be that much lower, not necessarily that they are leaving. The incoming cohort of juniors is smaller than this year's cohort of seniors, and you'll see that in a subsequent slide. We do know or project that some will leave, but this is a confluence of all those factors. So it's the projection of what the actual K through 12 enrollment will be. We know the incoming kindergarten class, or project also that it will be smaller than the existing kindergarten class based on birth rates.
Do you have a follow-up?
And so if there'll be another slide that breaks that out, then I'm going to hold my questions because they're along those lines, but I'll hold, given that there may be an additional information.
Thank you. Member Earl.
Yeah, the audit did a attendance audit last year, and that was one of the things they did do is go ask parents that had left the system how long they've been out, for what reasons would they leave or did they leave, right? There's some different questions in there. I'm just saying it's in that's not reflective of all this, and it's certainly not encompassing of all of it, but it does give some information that would be valuable. So that was last year. I can send it to you. I've got it pulled up right here.
Okay.
Okay,
Dale?
Chair, if we can keep moving
Please.
to the next slide, if that works. So one kind of nuance between how we count ADM, think of that as like a full-time equivalent student, where when we talk about October 1 enrollments, that's a head count. So there will be some difference there, but you see similar kind of patterns as you'd expect. I'm not going to go into more of this, but this is, the ADM numbers are key to the biggest formulas. The WPU-based programs are based on ADM rather than enrollment head counts. Let's go to the next slide here. We wanted to drill down on a few things. So full day kindergarten, where did we land in terms of changes overall? You'll see that district enrollments in full day kindergarten are down, but the actual percentage that are attending full day K went up. And that just is showing you just the change in the kindergarten class, that it's going down. Charters did increase their full day K participation quite a bit, but we're at this point now in the third year of full day K. Is this third? Fourth? I think it's the third year. We've had 2 full years of full day K. We're getting to where many LEAs are at or near 100%, and statewide we're at 92% full day K. Next slide. So in addition to student counts, we we do a snapshot of teacher FTE. We wanted to show you kind of year over year changes that way. So overall, we projected essentially flat teacher FTE, and that's where we landed. District FTE are down slightly, and charter FTE are offsetting that. So even though teacher counts are staying steady, is the question that chart. I know one question I would have would be, does that mean that class sizes are going down? You know, and I don't. I have, you know, our class size data lags a couple years, so we're going to wait and see. I'm not sure on that front. But we haven't seen teacher counts overall drop system wide. Okay. Next slide. So just kind of put this in perspective in past, you know, over the last 15, 17 years or so. So the green bars over there, those are the total number of students statewide. And you can see, and that's the right-hand side axis. So you can see we're projecting to be right around 650,000 students statewide. That's essentially the level we were in 2017. So the system was showing steady growth from 2010 to 2023, and we've seen some significant declines since then. So then I'm going to break it out between districts and charters. Next slide. So the school district line looks very similar to the overall level, but you know, you can, so we're projecting there's that 3% drop on the district side. So district enrollment's actually, you know, more, you know, closer to 2014 levels, 2013 levels. Next slide. So this is the charter side of it. And you can see that, you know, there was high levels of growth back between 2012, you know, and 2018. And then COVID happened and everything went crazy. And so it was essentially flat, but they were up one year, down another year. But since 2023, we've seen growth in the charter sector. Next slide. So this might help to answer Board Member Carey's question. I don't know, but this is a breakout of the student population by grade. And so the blue bars, these are the student levels for districts. Green bar, these are for charters. And then the percentage makeup of the student population K-12 are the green line and the blue line. So the point I would show on the district side, if you compare the blue bar for grade 12, that's right around 50,000 students. And you look at the K bar for blue, that's about 35,000 students. So within school districts, statewide, we have 15,000 fewer students in kindergarten than we do in our senior class this year. And that's, you know, about a third. So that challenges when you see this overall trend, that's what will be driving a lot of that. It's not always students leaving, they're just not there in the next grade. So I hope that helps to answer. So if you have questions on the specifics in your backups, we have this all broken out by LEA, and we hope that's helpful to kind of give you a picture of how enrollments are changing year over year in the system. Happy to answer any questions.
Member Davis.
Just trying to remember, economists projected that for 10 years we'll have declining enrollment, and then after 10 years the enrollment will be on the rise again, correct? Or will it level?
So the Gardner Policy Institute, they provide long-term projections on the K-12 aged population, and they show that yes, a few years from now, 4 or 5 years, we'll see a leveling out. We might see some increases, but not at the same levels that we did before. When we were meeting with LFA and GOPV, we were talking to their top economist, And she expects to see this turn around to leveling out, but that's 3 to 4 years from now. So, you know,
With birth rates and all the,
correct.
thank you.
But we'll have to see how this all plays out. But the drops should level out if these long-term projections stay, but we'll have to wait and see.
Thank you both, Sam and Dale, for your presentation here. Appreciate it.